everyone. Welcome to another live streaming event on Crypto Tips. My name is Heidi.
And I'm Toby.
And what is the price of Bitcoin?
I don't know.
Has it broken the all-time high again today?
Yeah, just once.
Just once.
19,800.
Pretty good. So,
pretty good.
Hi everyone who's in the live stream chat. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry we're a tad bit late. We've been doing some improvements in this recording room and we had some readjusting to do. But anyway, you don't have to worry about that. We're here. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about, especially there's been a lot of FUD. Some of it is justified, some of it might not be. But it's good to be aware of and to always have a perspective of why even something as sinister as this doesn't really have the grasp or the weight to really throw off the momentum of something like the bull run that we're seeing. And today's price movements, I think, should be showing just that because all of this already came out in the news like a few days ago. So anyway, first let's talk about what China has in custody. They have Plus Token was like a pyramid Ponzi scheme in China that was busted for many thousands of Bitcoin, like billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and Ethereum as well. And I think other coins like Ripple too. So my computer's at 20%. So we'll see how long this lasts. Let me turn my brightness down. What you doing?
I'll get the cord.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Bitcoin confiscated from Plus Token was likely sold by China. So this guy is claiming this on the 28th, 2 days ago. So maybe he's wondering, like maybe he's saying this is what caused that initial drop in price, which sent us back to what, like $17,000, $16,000, which obviously today we are right back at it. So judging by the amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum that China has from this confiscation event, I think that they would have dumped the price a lot more than it did. So this could be something to keep an eye on. Any kind of like centralized supply of coins in one kind of possession, especially in a country's government's possession like China. Who knows? They might want to take some profits, right? So figures of 190,000 Bitcoin and 830,000 Ethereum, which now cost $3,213,109,000 in Bitcoin.
20 cents.
And 20 cents. And 423 million in Ethereum. And that was 2 days ago. So it's probably worth even more now. So
making a killing.
Who knows? If they've actually sold that much, I don't think so, because there's this article that is saying whales dumped more than 93,000 Bitcoin sold since the peak. So again, since the time of this article came out to now, a lot has changed, even, of course, with price. It's like going crazy. But in the last pullback that we saw most recently this week, 93,000 Bitcoin were pretty much dumped onto exchanges to be sold for profit. And that doesn't exactly match up with what this guy is saying, that there was 190,000 Bitcoin that were sold, because he's referencing Huobi and OKX as the exchanges that China used to sell those cryptos. And this chart that he's showing is an aggregated graph of a lot of different exchanges. Binance, Coinbase, Huobi, Gemini, Kraken, Bitstamp, all of those. And he's saying there was 93,000 Bitcoin deposited onto all of those exchanges earlier this week or last week. And that was for that price correction. So anyway, I read also somewhere that like hodlers have been some of them have been taking profits since Bitcoin was reaching like 13,000. So, I mean, fair enough. Take profits when you want to, I guess, but don't want to be picking up too many pennies in front of that steamroller, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the people that are holding are going to make the most money out of this. I've said this time and time again, like the people that are trying to trade this and trying to, pick, $100, $200 moves on Bitcoin are the ones that are going to get annihilated in this space. and I've seen this for 7 years now, like same thing over and over again. People think, oh, we're going to time the bottom. Like I've had tons of friends actually write me and go, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to wait till it hits like 14. That's when I'm going to buy. Like have fun buying at 20K now, you know what I mean? Or above. That's what happens. This is dumb money moving in and trying to capture gains. And you know what? Like, what's the point? Like, you're going to guess a brand new asset class? You're going to guess on how to trade this thing? Like, nobody called this move from all the way from 19,000 back down to 16.3 or 2 back to 19 in like a couple days. Yeah. Nobody called that. Yeah. So that just tells you that these traders have no idea what they're talking about. The best guys on Twitter have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, and you see articles like I use CryptoPanic.com. It's like a news aggregator site. Super helpful if you want to kind of see generally what's happening in crypto. It's what I use for these live streams, actually. So, but anyway, like you can leave comments on different articles, and there's, these like 90% of the articles are talking about prices and predictions and whatever. And there's people commenting like, oh, I guess we all had the same Fibonacci scale or something, like I timed mine differently, or I adjusted mine differently. And it is completely a guessing game. And so many people, like you said, were wrong. And they were saying, like 13,000 or retrace back to 10,000. No, it didn't happen. And what's the point if it did? Like, it's going to bounce back eventually, you know what I mean? So it's so much more better to have a long-term, like this is a long game hold for Bitcoin.
It's also, I mean, so say for instance, Bitcoin goes to $300,000, $250,000. Like Red Dot guy says, like, I mean, are you really going to care about a $300 move on Bitcoin? Or are you going to be really bummed that you didn't have more Bitcoin by the time it reaches $280,000, because it can go that fast, that high, really fast, guys.
We are witnessing that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I was showing Heidi the price, like when I'm like, wow, we're gonna hit all-time high pretty soon. Like everybody's calling for a dip. I'm like, watch this, Heidi, and I'm showing her the live feed
the live
of
update
prices.
Of price. Yeah,
it's going
crazy.
Berserk.
Yeah.
Like crazy. I'm like, this reminds me of 2016.
Yeah.
This isn't we haven't even gotten to 2017 yet.
Yeah.
In terms of the bull.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be fun.
Anyway, I mean, it's super exciting, especially if you already have your position and you just, seeing the fruits of your labor, really, of holding through all of this mess, through all of the news, like I'm about to go through with you as well. A lot of FUD. But so this is interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
It's charging. What?
It's going down.
Oh, it's interesting. Okay. So Raoul Pal is someone who we often reference because he's kind of like the mainstream guy who's suddenly all into Bitcoin. He's, irresponsibly long Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Now, today you told me he went like all into Bitcoin. He
pretty much went all in, other than some sovereign bonds and cash, a little bit of cash. I know he's $1 long right now, but I think he's going to shortly change his demeanor on the dollar. Yeah. And so he's all in. Like, he's pretty much all in. And Heidi, I love your tweet today. You're like, yeah, this was me back in 2013. So if you want to get the best financial advisor in the freaking world.
Don't say that.
Boom.
No, this is not financial advice.
I know it's not financial advice, but like, you imagine her as a financial advisor. She would have made you a killing.
Let's be completely honest. My holdings in 2013 compared to Raoul Pal's are vastly different.
Sure,
but yeah. Anyway, so this touches on actually the next topic for the class that we'll be holding for our Patreon members. If you're interested in joining the CT Club, I definitely recommend you check out the link down below in the video description. I give you classes, we do trade alerts, you get access to our crypto portfolio, a lot of helpful articles and tools just to help you navigate the crypto space like a pro. Anyway, this next class is going to be over people who we find reliable in the crypto space. Now, reliability can go one or two ways. It can be reliable as in a good way, and reliable like they're the permanent canary in the Bitcoin mine, right? Like whatever these people say, consistently do the opposite and you'll do fine. I think Raul Paul is going to be one of those people. You're going to have to find out if you're in that class, what we pay attention to for him and why. Because there's a bunch of different things to pay attention to, whether it's global economics or Bitcoin or a lot of different things. So anyway, he did some damage with his Twitter account recently, talking first about how he's pretty much pro KYC and XRP, but I'm not going to touch on the XRP thing because that's just not necessary. But his opinion on KYC speaks a lot about his understanding of what this is all really about. Clearly, he's like a hedge fund manager, so he's just in it for the money, right? Fair enough. That's why a lot of people are in it in cryptocurrencies. That's why a lot of people liked my video series on how to navigate a crypto bull run, because people want to know how to make money, right? But there is something so much more important and deeper that is going into this, and KYC is a barrier of entry. Period.
It's a scam. And
it completely strips away everything that this space could be.
Absolutely.
And he's saying pretty much KYC is good for Bitcoin adoption, and it should be an assumption that it's going to happen for the masses to come in. And this is a perfect example of everything that Toby is always saying too, is there's going to be two different worlds here. There's going to be the regulated, the tracked, the non-private, the non-free way to interact with cryptocurrencies, and which really, and like, this is the new technology. Like we're always talking about price discovery. It's a brand new asset class. Eventually that is going to wear off, I think. And there's not going to be so much profit to be made instead. And once you take away the allure of the profit and you replace that with the restrictions of regulation of, you have to announce everything that you're doing with cryptocurrency. You have to ask permission to use your cryptocurrency or whatever. And that's your interaction with cryptocurrency versus the free kind of decentralized way, the right way, in my opinion, to interact with this space. You're gonna find out you went the wrong way, really.
Also, Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum, he's also said time and time again, like, hey, this is the Great Reset. We want to make sure that nobody owns anything and they can rent everything. So this is what your leaders have planned for your unelected leaders. And so, like, what do you think is going to happen with KYC, guys? Like, do you really think they're going to let you own anything?
Yeah.
Like, governments are going to crack down on you big time because, I mean, they're shutting down the world economy for a reason. And, you're not going to be able to own anything. This is literally one of the only things you can actually own. You don't own stocks. You don't know who owns a stock certificate. You don't own your property because try not paying property tax.
Yeah.
Bitcoin and crypto are pretty much the only thing you can own right now.
Yeah. I mean, and that's
and your sovereignty.
And that whole
that's going to go away.
Mindset of like owning property has already been eroded for so long with this whole concept of mortgages and things. It's like, all the time you're like, I know a lot of friends, everyone on Facebook, they're so excited they just bought their new house. They most likely didn't buy it. They took out a loan. The bank owns it and they have to pay the bank for the next 20 years. Or they, leverage that into the next loan that they take out. So this whole concept of actually owning something outright is not something that a lot of people are unfortunately accustomed to. Yeah. So that shift to no more property ownership. I mean, when you told me that, I was like, no, really? And I really
like,
started
he
thinking
wrote
about
this
it.
down in his book, The Great Reset. Go ahead and read it.
Yeah, it's
the
public
guy
knowledge.
Freaking read it, wrote it, and he's got all of the news media for him, and all of the leaders in the world pretty much for him, other than a couple.
Yeah.
Pivotal point. Thank you.
Thanks, Pivotal
Bring
Point.
on the berserk. Yeah. Oh, you have not seen anything yet. It's going
I
to
didn't
go
change
crazy.
the title of this live stream. I was going to put new all-time high in there. Anyway.
You didn't do that?
I did. No, we were scrambling to get ready.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. But anyway, So lots of thoughts on KYC and how it's like the how this space should be developing. And it's not it shouldn't be a surprise that, you know, governments are going to be pushing this. And we're going to touch on this actually in the very next topic, but
and there is 2.6 billion people unbanked right now.
Yes.
And so KYC is going to destroy those people's abilities, especially in emerging markets, to go ahead and participate in Bitcoin. Like, come on, Raul, get a brain, buddy. Like, you know, use it sometimes, but I mean, think about this.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I mean. Like a statement like that, it's like you are just focused on profit and that's it. Like, it's not really much more than that on like the implications of this technology for literally changing how the world, not just the privileged first world nations, but like the world can actually benefit from this.
Yeah.
So I want to say real quick, Kenny, hi guys, what's going with Bitcoin price? We'll go to 20K today, anyone? And then he says, love to see Bitcoin 25K this week. He's got high hopes.
I mean,
who knows?
After 20K, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It could go I have no idea. Nobody knows where it's going to head. So listening to traders, the top guys, whatever, they're not going to call it.
Yeah.
Time after time again. Dollar cost average, just keep buying. Don't worry about the price. You know, like we're going to go way higher. That's all I know.
Yeah. Tim H asked, can you elaborate on our moves with the exchanges to complement the KYC changes? Which exchanges to move our holdings that we do keep on exchanges? So, okay, Tim, if we're talking about, you know, the U.S. Treasury and Steve Mnuchin.
Munchkin.
Yeah, Munchkin. And, you know, it's not an official statement. I'll get into it more specifically. But basically, here's what you need to know. If you are a U.S. citizen and you have your coins on a centralized exchange, if you are a U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter if that centralized exchange is based in the U.S. or based anywhere in the world, because you are a U.S. citizen. Those rules will apply to you. So you're probably going to see a lot more rashes of exchanges, again, cutting out U.S. citizens because they don't want to have to deal with that. Or like Binance, you know, developing a new exchange just for U.S. citizens. But yeah, it's awfully limiting. So let's go ahead and pivot to that topic actually right now. So Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, mentioned the rumors that the U.S. Treasury and Secretary Mnuchin were planning to rush out some new regulation regarding self-hosted crypto wallets before the end of his term, which would be January, I think. Yeah. I'm concerned that this would have unintended side effects and wanted to share those concerns. So this tweet, the tweet thread is, again, the link is available down below in the video description if you want to read it all. But there's a lot to unpack from this potential regulation. It means that if you have coins on a centralized exchange, again, either if you are a U.S. citizen or if you are using a U.S.-based cryptocurrency exchange like Kraken, Coinbase, Gemini, and I'm sure there's a few others as well, but those are the big ones. If they're based in the U.S. and this does go through, you would have to identify the owner of a wallet if you're trying to withdraw your coins out of that exchange and send it to a wallet, which right now you can freely do. You can send it to whatever wallet you have. You don't have to ask permission or prove the identity of that wallet, which I don't know how you'd be able to do anyway. I mean, can't you say it belongs to John Doe or something? But so basically, they want to know where you're sending it to, who you're sending it to, probably why you're sending it. And that's a lot of pressure and paperwork and things for exchanges themselves to implement, let alone the people who are using the exchange. You know how much of a headache that would be for you to have to, it would be on you ultimately to provide that information. So huge barrier, not user-friendly. Yeah. And hopefully, I would hope that's going to encourage a lot of people to clear their coins off an exchange now before they have to do this. And that's probably why Brian Armstrong and all these guys, these centralized exchange guys, are freaking out, because that would be a huge turnoff for anyone storing their coins on a centralized exchange. And centralized exchanges massively benefit from having people store their coins there. So basically, he makes valid points, But his points are coming from the fact that he's running a centralized exchange itself, and maybe not necessarily because the freedom of the people, that and the custodianship of those coins.
Yeah.
So
I also had a meeting with a friend about a week and a half ago, and Gemini ratted out his information to the IRS.
Really?
So.
Oh, yeah. No. It's that was legal because these centralized exchanges they use, like Coinbase was very public about their partnership with a blockchain data tracking company. I forget the name of it now. It's not Chain Analysis. It was a different one. But so yeah, I mean, it's a thing. Like these centralized exchanges have a lot of data and a lot of identifying data that connect people and their movements with cryptocurrencies. And governments would love to know that. They would love to know what they know that their citizens aren't voluntarily reporting. So they can purchase these contracts for data. It's legal, and they can get your data. And we saw it with Coinbase and the IRS with those Jane Doe summons. So it's a thing. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but they will give it out. And all these terms and conditions that you agree to when you create accounts here, they say that. All these KYC companies that you give your information to for any kind of a thing that you need KYC for, whether it's an exchange or a wallet or whatever, you read the terms and conditions. It's a shame that more people don't do this. Maybe they would understand why it's a bad idea, because they have these clauses that say, we will share your information if it's a legal issue, or if it's like a whatever, like some government demands it pretty much, like they're going to give it away. So there goes your privacy.
Michelle URL, yes, The Great Reset by Strauss. Klaus Schwab, yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just guessing. But anyway, yeah.
Evil.
So that's one thing, right? Like, again, it's just a rumor. Mnuchin hasn't done an official announcement. They have until January. But if it does go through.
This is just a test balloon. They love doing these test balloons. They want to test people's sentiment, see what they can get away with.
Maybe.
See how much fight that's going to be countered with this. And then,
I mean, that's a summary of the whole year 2020. Like, what can we get away with?
Exactly.
Surprisingly a lot.
Whether it's a lot of stuff. So
yeah. But so, like, let's say devil's advocate, worst case scenario, this bleeds out into now they have kind of a precedent to impose this kind of regulation on third-party wallet providers, like Ledger, maybe. Or like you have to maybe identify, I don't know how they would implement that, but like you have to go through KYC to get a wallet, and that information could be given to the internet or to the government. Or like these other like wallets like Jax or Exodus or Atomic Wallet, like these centralized, they're probably centralized. I don't know. They probably have a CEO and someone who could get pinched and have these regulations enforced upon. So by the way, if that ever happens, there's a beautiful thing about cryptocurrency. Like we're always saying, there's that regulated side and there's that decentralized free side. You can run your own node on a computer, and you can generate wallets and addresses on your computer, not being generated or offered to you by some other company or third party, which you don't know exactly how centralized they are, or how their policies might change. Or like MetaMask, like you don't know really what they're collecting about you. So there is hope. Like there's so much doom and gloom that people could read into in this, but it's only because you're actually not educated on the right way to participate in this crypto space, or you just don't know about it. So anyway, yeah. What else was I going to say about this? Oh, this should also be infuriating. If you guys were in my newsletter, or if you haven't yet, I suggest that you join it. It's free. Goes out every Sunday. But I talked about this. And one thing, considering, the general instability of job losses, lost income, inflation, infinite currency printing. And then on top of all that, you finally have, this has happened before, right? Maybe not to this extent, but like in 2008, it's pretty bad. Now, finally, there's this kind of different option and escape for this. And now your government is trying to clamp down on that as well and kind of trap you into their system. That should be very infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger the Western country that you live in, whether it's the UK, Australia, Canada, US, those are going to be the least free places that you can possibly be. So, like, I mean, Heidi and I, we kind of planned around this. We knew that it was going to get really bad. And so we decided to get a second citizenship, before we made a killing as well, So that was our plan, It was a risk, but we're like, well, there's really, like, we understand how bad this can get. And we understand what, like, the end of an empire looks like. I mean, we study history. We understand, like, we can read Rome, like the 4th, 5th century Rome. Like, it's very similar to that. You look at the denarius and you look at, it used to be like full silver now. And then, they degraded it and they devalued it and they took out silver and they put in other metals, which were pretty much worthless back then. And so, that's what they've done to your currency as well. So you understand where this is headed. All governments are very cyclical. They all kind of, they start the same and then they are very similar and then they end very similar, like Mark Twain once said. He said, history doesn't always rhyme, but it always repeat.
Doesn't always repeat.
It doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes. So it's like, guys, take advantage of this. Like, you guys could make a lot of money during this, but if all of your freedoms are taken away, what's the point? So, like, stand up and fight. Because, we all want to be able to spend our money that we're going to make, and we all want to be, like, financially free, And so, this is, like, really important for you guys to do and to think about too. So,
yeah. And talking about, like, standing up and fighting, really.
Thanks, Tasman.
Yeah. Thank you, Tasman.
Thank you.
So I wanted to address Sarfraz, why you never mentioned Monero. We talk about Monero a lot, actually, in these live streams. It's one of the one privacy coin I don't mind name dropping all the time because of how strongly I feel about their privacy protocols and how secure that they are compared to others for many different reasons. If you're interested in that, again, in the CT Club, I do a class on privacy, just generally online and within the cryptocurrency space. And yeah, Monero is a great one. So again, if you're talking about getting your coins off of a centralized exchange, filter it through and you want to kind of disconnect it from, you don't want them, because the way blockchains work, they're public and transparent, right? So if they know that you have this account on an exchange and you've now identified yourself as the owner of this wallet also, and you do patterns, they would know that any wallet after that is probably yours as well. So definitely look into privacy coins, definitely look into decentralized exchanges. And what's really great about what's happening, what they're pushing right now is actually really good for the crypto space, because suddenly decentralized exchanges are finally going to be valued for their ability to not be imposed, these regulations to be imposed upon. And those decentralized exchanges that are, quite frankly, falsely marketing themselves as decentralized, they're really centralized. Some have CEOs, believe it or not. When they start imposing these same regulations as centralized exchanges, no one's going to be using them as well. So it's really going to spur a lot of interest into truly decentralized exchanges. And that interest is going to spur on the development of better decentralized exchanges, more decentralized out of necessity, but also just usability and liquidity will come as well as there's a demand for it. So it's really interesting. It's like when, for every action, there's the equal opposite reaction. So however strongly they try to lock down on it, there's going to be something built that they can't get a hold of, which is really cool. And it's why this space is so dang beautiful, and I love to see what's being built on it.
Zephyr has a really good, How much money is it killing? Who knows? It's up to you,
It's
man.
relative.
It's all
That is
relative.
all relative.
What was this? Where was it? What bloody clashers? What ancient civilization memorizes you the most? I think like Rome, because they had the ability to create roads, to create infrastructure that the world has never seen before, and go ahead and pretty much kind of conquer the rest of the world. And then you had the Visigoths, and you had, the complete ripping of the Roman Empire. But I mean, that's fascinating because you can really go ahead and see what such a strong empire, the Pax Romana, that can really take over the entire world and then completely get ripped apart from the inside out. And that is exactly what's happening with the West right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I can go on that.
You should.
I love history.
You should go on and on.
Yeah.
Samantha's asked, are we concerned we'll be censored on this platform? We've been censored before.
All the time.
There's quite a few times actually when our live streams don't show up for a day or so and they're just not getting sent out. So we do post also on library.tv, so you can find our videos there as well. Anyway, a lot of people are asking what's my favorite decentralized exchange? BISC. BISQ. Great example of a actual decentralized exchange. Fiat on-ramp, off-ramp without KYC. A lot of liquidity for Bitcoin and Monero on that one. I know a lot of exchanges have delisted Monero because it is so dang private. They can't track it, and it's in their best interest not to have it. So BISC is great. Blocknet, I think, has to do a little bit more to have that usability, but BISC is a good one. And then just for ERC20 tokens, there's a lot of them now. That's a great ecosystem. There's a lot of decentralized exchanges for that, whether it's Uniswap, Kyber, 1inch. A lot of options there. But so anyway, I did a class on those as well in the CT Club if you guys are interested in joining and learning more about those.
Yes. But
anyway, this upcoming week, expect some tutorials coming out for you guys for Ledger hardware wallets, for staking coins, and things like that. So anyway, hope you guys are staying happy and healthy. Thank you so much for tuning into this live stream.
Good
it's
to see you
always
guys.
great to have you
Sorry
guys
we
here.
were all over the place, but
we are all over the place.
Yeah,
but that's
today
okay.
we were a little late, so
It'll get a little antsy.
Yeah.
What's Bitcoin at right now?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll see. I'm not sure if ADA is on BISC. It's just BISQ, by the way. You'll have to see. But I know most of the liquidity is for Bitcoin and Monero, just so you know. So anyway, see you guys again soon. And until then, hope you're staying happy and healthy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.